The first thing we're going to do is that I'm going to build a new folder right here. I'm going to call this one, let's just call it AI system. And then I'm going to go out of Claude and write cd AI system, which is basically just going to get me into that folder. And then write Claude. The reason I do this is because I don't want to give it the context of all the other things that we have built as well. We want it to be completely focused on this right here. What I'll then do is that I'm going to write, I want to build out a full app for a client that includes a bunch of small automations. And then I'm going to write the only domain that should be allowed into this app should be @.Shiney.ai domains. The reason we do this is because if we deliver this for a client, we want to add some additional security measures that only emails with their own domain should be allowed into it. This is basically just an additional layer of security. Then I'm going to write the stack. Next.js, we want to use nextauth for authentication with no Google login, because we don't need that. We want to be using the magic links, but again, this is something that you could add later if you wanted to. Then we want to use Tailwind CSS, recent for magic links. For the backend, I'm not going to write yet. I'm going to write backend. Let's not create this yet, but I want to use trigger.dev at one point. So just create the structure for it. And then for the database, we want to use Mongo. I'm going to give it some additional information. This app will be a dashboard for the automations they have running. So keep as much as possible in the front end, only automations in the back end. Only automations and processes in the back end. For database, we're going to use MongoDB. And then I don't want it to build anything out yet. I don't want you to build out any automations yet. I want you to create the structure of the app. I want a dashboard when they land inside, a simple sidebar where they will have all of the automations and a settings tab where they can log out, etc. Please build this out. Then we're going to use ultrathink. I'm going to put it inside of plan mode to force it to create the full plan before it starts building. And then we are going to hit enter. It's going to take a little longer now the first time that we are building it out. But just like we have done previously with the automations, what we'll later do is that we're going to create a skill out of this, and I'm going to give that skill to you as well. And then we can basically build out full AI systems like this in a single prompt. Which nextauth version? Use the latest one. For components, we can use shared CN components. How should the Shiney.ai domain restriction work? Only allow @Shiney.ai domains. MongoDB persistence for auth. Let's use the JWT session tokens and submit answers. There we go. Now it's going to plan out this entire thing. And there we go. Claude has now written up a plan. I'm also going to tell it to please use the superpowers skill, and I approve of plan. Again, if you don't know what the superpowers skill is, superpowers is basically a plugin that includes a couple of skills for like writing plans, writing skills, executing plans. It's basically forcing Claude to think like a developer, which is very useful when it's building out a full app. So now it's going to build out and scaffold this entire project. That took 13 minutes to build out. Now we want to click into the folder where we have created all of this. We want to go into the .env local example, copy this, paste this, and then rename it and just call it .env.local like this. Cool. Now we need to fill out all of this information. The first is the auth secret. To create this, we can use this command right here that it was so nice to show, which is called open SSL rand and then base6432. Hit enter. That's going to give us a random string of letters. We can paste that in instead of the auth secret right here, just like this one. Then we have the nextauth URL. For now, we're just going to keep that at localhost 3000. And then we go under API keys, create an API key. I'm going to call this one AI system. It should have full access. Click add, copy it, go back, paste it in right here. And then I'm just going to write Shiny portal. That is going to be the sender. And for the email, I'm going to use this email that I've already set up, which is just going to be this one. So it's going to be no reply at mail.clip.dev. This is the domain that I'm just going to use because I've already set it up once. Then we're using the MongoDB URI. We get that by going to MongoDB. If you don't have one already, then create a user. Create a database and a cluster if you don't have one already. I'm now going to click connect, click drivers, and this gives me this string right here. What we then also want to do is that we want to click done right here, then go into database and network access, click edit, and then we can edit the password. Also generate a secure password, copy this and paste it in right here where it says DB password. Just like this. And the trigger.dev key is not set up yet. We're going to set that up later when we set up the automations and the backend. Now we can click update user right here, and now it should work. The last thing we need to do is that we need to insert the name of the database. It's not called Shiny right here. It is called Newsify right here. It's from a previous project. So I'm going to fill this out as well. Cool. Let's try and run it. So we need to go inside of AI system by using cd and AI system. And then we're going to write npm run dev to start the dev server. Hit enter. This is going to open it up. And you can see it starts on localhost 3000. Let's see what it built out. We definitely need to work on the design of this. But let me sign in with Albert at Shiney.ai. Send magic link. There you go. Check your inbox. Can then go inside of our inbox, Albert at Shiney.ai. Click sign in. And there we go. Now we have our dashboard right here that shows total automations, how many active, how many drafts. Recent activity, nothing yet, welcome back. Your automations dashboard, blah, blah, blah. And then it says Shiny up here. Then we have an example automation right here where we're going to have all of the automations here on the left side. And then inside of settings, you can see you sign into Shiny, email, and then you can sign out. Great. This is just the structure of the dashboard. We definitely need to make this look a lot better before we do anything else. The way we do that is that we use the front end design skill. I'm going to write, that looks good. I want to give our app a makeover. Use the front end design skill. I want it in a linear light mode type of vibe. We should have both light mode and dark mode. Let's build this out. Things, ultra think, hit it with a plain mode so it plans out how we should do it. And then hit enter. I like to build the structure first where it doesn't care at all about the design first, so it builds it out the right way. And then later we give it a makeover so it doesn't look this bad. That will probably take a couple of minutes to fix. Great. Now we have something that looks more like this, which looks good. But I can see we already have an error right here. So I can click on this little icon to copy the error, go back into Claude, paste it in and say, please fix this. Thank you. And now it's going to fix this error right here. It's running a lint. Go. Let's see if it'll. There we go. The error disappeared. If we write at Albert at Shiney.ai, you can see it says check your inbox. We can then go to our inbox, click sign in. Now it says something went wrong, which is weird. That's because I clicked on the one that was 20 minutes ago. You gotta click on the newest one right here, 0 minutes ago. And there we go. Welcome back. Now it looks like this, and the light mode. This looks a lot better. There's some weird thing going on with the gradient. What I'll do is that I'm going to take a screenshot of this and say this title and other text has a weird gradient. That is too much. Please fix it. Thanks. I like this theme a lot better. And now we have both a light mode and a dark mode. It fixed this Albert text right here, but it still does that weird thing. I'm going to just take a screenshot of it again and say, see how in the sides it's less bright than in the middle. We don't want that. Please fix. Also, this light mode button up here, we probably don't want that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say, nice, the light mode button top right corner. Please remove that so we only have it inside of settings. Looks a bit brighter, but it still has that weird shadow on the left hand side right here. Let's try and write on the sides there's a weird shadow. Can we please remove that? Actually, I think it's because these dots in the background, they probably would need this shadow. So I'm going to write they should only have the effect on the background dots, not on the headlines and text and components. etc. You can see it's doing it on every single page, kind of like dark to the sides, but then in the middle it's like bright. We want it to be white everywhere. There we go. Now it fixed it, so the text is completely white. I think this looks a lot better. What we're going to do now is we're going to install our first app. So I'm going to write, let's install our first app, which will be this invoicing app that also uses trigger.dev as backend. I want you to, 1, install this front-end form to our AI system folder, and 2, create the trigger.dev backend. We're going to call this the AI system backend right here inside this folder that will include the backend for this automation. Also, make it so we later can add more tasks. That's what it's called inside of trigger.dev. So more automations later. For now, let's add this one. I'm going to set it to plan mode and write use subagents to get all context you need and implement this automation. So now we're going to take the invoice app that we just built previously and we're going to install it into our AI system. And there we go. Now you can see inside of our app, the send invoice automation has now been set up. And now they have the same form that's now in this new branding where they can generate and send an invoice much faster. And then when you're building out this AI system, it will consist of, let's say, 5 to 10 different automations that are automating something. And all the employees would need access to is literally just this dashboard right here that would allow them to use the automations. The next thing I want to do is to handle the authentication. If it's not auth yet, I want to add a auth button to this right here. For this automation, we need to handle the auth. So please add if we don't have authentication set up when we trigger it, that a modal pops up where they can authenticate. When we created this standalone automation, we handled the authentication using the link inside of the terminal via Claude Code. But of course, our clients will not be able to do that. So we need to add a nice button where they can just authenticate with whatever they're using. Cool. I hope you see the idea of how you can build fully custom AI systems, how you can make it domain specific so only people from this company can use it, and how you now have this structure to build anything that you want inside of here. Your automations doesn't have to be a form where then something happens. You can also set up automations that doesn't require anyone to do anything, where it just runs on autopilot. Let me show you how to do that too. But before we do that, let's make sure that this actually works. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to trigger.dev. I'm going to create a new project that I'm going to call AI system. Then I want to push this straight to production. So I am going to get the API key right here, the secret key, paste that into environmental value right here. And we also need to do that right here. Then we need to go down and we need to get inside of general, the project ref. So I'm going to insert that here too. Close this down like that. Just like before, we need to set the environmental variable. So I'm going to go inside of here, click add new, and then go inside of our environmental file, copy all of this, and then paste this into the production like this and click save. And now I'm going to wait for it to set up the connection so everything works, and then we're going to test it. Cool. Let's try and push this to production. Going to give it the project ref. Right here, I'm going to say we need to set up the backend. I have installed all the env on trigger.dev. This is the project ref. Can you please set this up so it works with everything, authentication, etc. Thank you. So now we're basically just going to push this backend code right here, which is the AI system backend. We're going to take these tasks that are the trigger.dev tasks. We're going to push it to this new trigger.dev that we just set up. So we have everything in one place. You can see there's no tasks inside of here yet. And there we go. I now deployed it to production. Now you can see the task is inside of our AI system on trigger.dev in the production. If I then just make a test, we can call it Albert test, company name, BMA, just write consulting, set it to $1,500 and click generate and send. You can see it says, there we go, queued, run ID, run like this. And now if you go inside of runs, you can see it's now executing, and you can see invoice from Shiney. Here we have it. Cool. So now our send invoice is working. What I'll do now, just like I explained before, is that now we have the start, right? This is a good starting point for every new client that you get on as well.